TheRationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rational Investors Daily Brief, our most exciting, action-packed half hour of free content for the YouTube audience on a daily basis. Actually, I think Julian had a lot of fun with you guys yesterday, so I hope you enjoyed that. Unfortunately, YouTube loves to kick me out of the daily briefs just as we're getting going. It drives me crazy. So Chris, of course, is driving the bus. Thank heavens. Without Chris, we'd be dead around here. Anyway, just give me a second to load this up here just so I can see what you guys are saying and barking about, and then we will get on with the show. Just give me another couple seconds. Almost there, and it looks like we're live. And oh goodness, how long is it going to take? Grand total of 6 people watching. Woohoo! There we go. Hey, Omar's over there. Jerome Powell is speaking right now. I suppose RN. Is that what RN stands for? Did notice this morning that we had Mr. Powell speaking here today at 8 o'clock. Always a question of whether he's talking about interest rate policy or whether he's just making speeches to like banking execs and stuff like that. So did read before we got the video going here that he was kind of leaning towards, yeah, it looks like we're engineering a soft landing, but don't know whether we can actually start lowering interest rates anytime soon. Having said that, it looked to me like the whole market just went into face rip rally mode here. Kind of, I suppose, probably on the on him starting to speak and him just simply not coming out and throwing a big wet blanket on everybody. But as you can see, stocks all pivoted smartly higher here over the past, say, half hour or so. Actually, maybe call it the past hour or two. And your beloved crypto continues to power higher. I'm actually quite astounded by it. I suppose later on in the broadcast, we will take a good look at yield Bitcoin. And in the after party today, being Friday, Friday, always a fun day at TRI. 1st of December, look at that. So we're into the final month of calendar month of this 2023. Good part about it, of course, is usually they say recessions happen in years that end in like 8s, 9s, 0s, 1s, and 2s. Sometimes you get a bit of a hangover, and it was kind of interesting how so many people in the public were looking for more recessionary action here. But I'm like the U.S., I definitely don't think it's going to go into recession. The question ultimately here is, does crazy, silly markets like China go into recession? Actually, even some of the data coming out recently out of Canada showing like negative GDP prints. So I think you could actually make the argument Canada is in recession. And substitute drama teachers completely fuck the economy up. So it's an absolute shit show up here. Having said that, I'm not really overly bearish of the U.S. economy. Other than I will say things like the disconnect in the housing industry. I think probably we have to get to the point where people stop talking about housing. And I actually get the feeling what probably happens is, the broader market, tech stocks and all these kind of parts of the economy, you can see the small cap market is lifting here. We have to get back into the environment where people are talking about that and not talking so much about housing, which might mean that, probably what ends up happening is the housing market just goes absolutely dormant, just flatlines. That would actually be normal for housing. For the longest part of my career, they actually made it a point to not have housing as part of the conversation because the politicians got into so much trouble through the Great Depression, and of course, made it so that FDR like literally could walk back into office term after term after term because the housing market was such a disaster there through the Great Depression. So I almost think that this is almost the exact opposite scenario. Having said that, I was I don't know, I think I tweeted it out, but interesting data coming out of the Canadian housing data. Doesn't look anything at all like the US housing market, complete opposites. But yes, definitely the bubble in the Canadian housing market is finally looking to be popping. So, anyway, that's that. Interestingly enough, even the Canadian economy itself, aside from the housing industry, showing relative resilience. Actually, we had employment data come out for Canada here today, and you can see unemployment rate stubbornly high up there. I think basically in line with expectations. What surprised me was a huge shift from part-time employment to full-time employment. You don't see that very often. So fairly significant rumblings under the surface of the Canadian economy, people moving into more sort of full-time work. But interestingly enough, these purchasing managers index PMI, and then also we had ISM manufacturing employment, sort of like industrial base of the economy. All these numbers coming out below 50. So, ironically enough, if the Fed actually wanted to engineer the economy to contract, well, they're getting it. The manufacturing industry is contracting right across the board, whether it be in Canada or down in the US, or whether it be in the manufacturing or even employment numbers, they're all in contraction mode. And interestingly enough, I think that, Chair Powell, this is exactly what he wanted to see. And I think you could make the argument to a certain degree that they are trying to get in front of this inflation curve. And actually, if you listen to a lot of the YouTube sort of talkers, the U.S. housing market, and God, you listen to some of these guys that have like hundreds of thousands, if not, well, anyway, just ridiculously large amounts of followings. They're all calling for like the end of the world here. And yet, ironically enough, what does the silly stock market do? I mean, if that's the end of the world, well, I don't know what kind of world you live in here. Well, look at that. I strapped on a little crude short against the reload zone here. A couple contracts I want to put on some more up at 78.6. Yeah, he's kind of stalling out here, kind of going sideways, and it's probably how it's going to end the day. But if we go and look at things like the stock market, and in fact, actually, the Dow really jumped out at me yesterday. Completely contrarian. I mean, hell, I don't see any top here. Definitely see the makings of divergence, and Willie is now officially stupid. And you can see the buying enthusiasm here is waning. So we're probably closer to some sort of top than a bottom. I suppose the $64,000 question is where the hell do they want to take these damn markets out, given it is Friday? And it is an options expiry, so the options boys and girls, I suppose. If we look at the Dow options, they don't not that liquid compared to the ES. We can always look at that in a moment, but here you can see the calls and the puts. Yeah, maybe we'll go side by side. So heavy open interest here. These are the options that expire today. Quite a bit of interest there in the 360 strike right now, 362.36. So that's actually in the money by a couple bucks. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, actually, yeah, there we are. Wouldn't be surprised if actually see the market come down a little bit, but it had a pretty big jump yesterday. And then on the put side, of course, another monster home run here. So you can see there's the 362s. Look at all of these puts. 353, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, all in the thousands, and they are all going to expire worthless. So Wall Street goes, woohoo! Drinks are on the brokers, market makers. I don't know what you want to call them, options traders, institutional order desks. Anyway. Might be interesting just to take a quick boo at the good old QQQ. Well, yeah, let's do spiders first. Interesting here. 458.73 up 233. And notice, looks like the heaviest open interest here is 455. So those guys will all expire worthless. Way to go, Wall Street. Another big win. Look at that. Even the 450s, there's 44,000. I bet if we go through these strikes, I bet you there's just tons of options even lower that were written. Where are we here? 50. So we're right here. Look at all these contracts are all going to expire worthless. I always say that the anchor is usually where the heaviest open interest, and then they do a lot of spreads and stuff versus this heavy open interest here. So 44,000 there. Also, this 36. If they can get the market to go out up top here, then it's a total home run. The only question here is, do they really want to have too many calls expire in the money? Interesting how we have this massive call open interest here at 455. So I might argue that they probably park it somewhere right around this for probably above the 455. So that put expires worthless. These calls, if they expire just slightly in the money, then that means anybody who bought these calls automatically gets exercised, and boom, you now own the SPY from 455. And you might find that actually a lot of people, a lot of Wall Street guys are writing these calls to actually sell the stock market up top here. That wouldn't surprise me. So let the market go out probably a little bit lower than where we are right now. But you never know. Maybe they'll be greedy. And if they can get the market to go out up here, look how many of these puts. It's 21,000 actually, a little suspicious here. Notice how there's absolutely nothing above here. So no reason whatsoever for them to let this market go out above 460 too much. I mean, there's just no incentive here on the other side. Whereas if they do let this thing go out above 460, then all of these call options all expire in the money. I wouldn't be surprised if Wall Street wouldn't mind a few of those calls expiring worthless. Then also too, it'd be interesting to see what the average right price of this 455 is. My hunch is the expiry today plus the average right price makes these guys just break even if they happen to actually get exercised on that 455 call. Anyway, point of the matter here is I think Wall Street's going to do perfectly fine with the market going out the way it is today. And it is looking a little nosebleedy here. I would love to entertain the idea of hunting a short on something like now that this divergence has confirmed. And also too, we actually have a bigger one that's trying to confirm. It'll confirm if we go through those lows. But because of this, and you can even see the buying interest is just completely collapsed. If we get a low volume bar lower than that low bar, then that means that the bulls have completely fallen asleep. If this was earlier in the day and then we go and actually put in an M, that would actually set up a half decent sell. But it is getting awfully late in the day. We're 20 minutes after 9. Hell, I've been at my post here for now about 4.5 hours. And unfortunately got stopped out on my opening range trade here this morning in crude. So just been kind of humming and hawing. I think actually we had a really interesting cup and handle earlier on the day on my getting stopped out of my opening range trade. Boo, hiss, hiss, boo. Cup and handle, we ran up into the cup and handle objective. Also, this was a bullish bot objective. There's the AB, I guess A, B, C, D up into that area, which set up just the most beautiful little short. The only problem is it just happened so quickly. I didn't even really get that well of a defined bearish divergence here to set the trade up, and I didn't get any M or anything, so I couldn't hit that. It's too bad. I really would have liked to have hit that. Trade worked really, really well. Then I have been over the past week or two sort of watching this ICT concept where, if the market's making higher highs and higher lows, and then you break the previous sort of bullish market structure, then on any kind of counter trend rally back into, I think, and this is my interpretation, fair value gap on the break from the highs. And I often notice that my reload zones actually line up really, really nicely with that. So you can see what my logic was with shorting this. And with it being so late in the day, I'm not really in love with this. And it's just micros. So it's not really like it's a huge amount of money. Having said that, and this is sim too. So I just like to keep busy and I like to be somewhat productive through the day. So anyway, that's what I was hunting. I was actually quite interested in hunting a bullish bot to take us higher. But I really did like this reload short zone. So I'm going to stick with this. I won't bother with the bot. And it could go either way. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that's Brian's paper trading afternoon. And I have just a simple rule in my trading plan. I take the opening range trade. If it works and I'm up money on the day, then I can continue risking money in the marketplace. However, if it doesn't work and this got stopped out for like a $70 loss, then got to shut down the live account and just go and sim trade for the rest of the day. Don't want a bad situation to turn into a disaster. So anyway, that's my day. One thing I will say that I'm actually quite proud of myself, but of course doesn't really mean jack shit to anybody in the world. But I am actually following process goals really well. Chris and I sort of committed to taking this opening range trade for this quarter. And I have been taking every single trade. I'm actually still up about $200-300. I was up a huge chunk of money there a few days ago, but I've had 3 opening range trade fails in a row. Bang, 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 bang. And yesterday we got really bitch slapped hard. So unfortunately, really, it's a commentary. If you are a trader, you got to live by the sword, die by the sword. It's just the way that it goes. I don't know whether I can show you it, but it was, I think it should be on here. But it was a bit painful yesterday. I'll tell you that much by crackers. But anyway, it's just a trader's life. And what really sucked about it is that we had actually a really nice one of these ICT setups that produced just an absolute monster win yesterday, which was a bit surprising. So anyway, for this free video, it's not really relevant. All right, so point here is, as somebody on YouTube mentioned, Chair Powell is speaking. I got the impression from him that he's sort of like, well, maybe more interest rates are not needed right now. I think I've told you, everybody, and really, hopefully, this is just a reiteration. You hear this constantly from me. It should just be, basically the same message over and over. I believe Colonel Mustard did it in the drawing room with a candlestick. No, that's not what I believe. I believe that what we should see happen here, especially heading into this US election year coming up, is a pause period, kind of like this. And keep in mind, I mean, this is a weekly price chart. And if we do a date range study, say from here to here, that was basically a year, 59 bars, that little window there. I could very easily see us do exactly the same thing here. So that's my expectation going forward, and especially heading into the election. And I wouldn't even be surprised. I would not put it by the powers that be that they actually engineer another crisis to encourage a big bailout of corporate America sometime in the not too distant future. Because, like, as I said to you, I'm hearing a ton of sort of these talking heads on YouTube and all that stuff who are basically saying that the housing market will crash in 2024. I don't think it's going to be a crash, and usually what happens is when too many people are looking for a crash, it never happens. It doesn't happen because too many people are looking for it. Too many people are betting that way. Too many people are buying put options. So as a result, market never breaks. There's just too much short interest. I did find it interesting that there is one gentleman that I have been showing you guys recently. Unfortunately, I don't think because I changed accounts, you can't see him. But the gentleman with the glasses, I can't remember his name, but I do post his videos in the lounge quite often. And I think you can actually make the argument there are certain parts of the US housing industry that are already in correction moment. They're already there. I think he had one market, and I think it was somewhere in Texas, that it's actually already down like 18% from its peak. So you could make the argument that the housing market is already correcting. It's already doing its thing that it needs to do. And what I found fascinating, and maybe I'll find it while our special guest Stephen is talking in our after party, and actually it might be interesting just to get some anecdotal feedback from the Americans, especially in the sort of Northeast, because Stephen's up there in New York City. New York City. Who remembers what that's from? Actually, it'd be interesting if you guys even remember that. No, I think I've said that joke so many times with Stephen, he probably knows. Anyway, we'll joke about that in the after party. So anyway, the point here is that, and I'm trying to talk and try and find that guy's video too at the same time, which is probably not really too productive. But where is he? Come on, you can do it. Come on, baby. Come on, you're here. I know you are. Oh my goodness. Oh my damn. Oh, I know it's interesting to see all these elderly people of the baby boomer generation are all tipping over right, left, and center here, eh? I don't know if you guys see that. But a retired Chief Justice just passed away. Down in the States, we had Charlie Munger died the other day. Mr. Cambodia himself. I saw people commenting about Mr. Kissinger and his gift to the world, murdering millions of Cambodians. Anyway, Mr. Kissinger has passed away, so a whole bunch of them are tipping over here. Oh, darn. It's not that guy. Right. You'd think I should be able to find this guy's videos really quickly. Come on, where are you, buddy? Anyway, he was pointing out that there is actually specific places in the U.S. Real estate industry that are actually fully in correction mode. So you could actually make the argument it's already happening, and I think that what'll end up happening, is my opinion, is just it will quietly correct as the housing industry usually does, and the talk of bubbles and getting rich in the housing industry will slowly fade away. Darn it, I can't find him. Oh well, I'll save it for the after party. All right, moving on here. And actually, I probably almost exhausted myself for this free video. So I don't know. I hope you guys got some value out of this. Suppose we ought to pop on over to the Bitcoin. It's interesting how over the past few weeks, I have been talking to you guys about this scenario where really the market could break either way, up or down. I don't really think that there is there is no top in the market just yet. And the fact even that last week we just went in, put in a doji, and then flipped over and broke out through the top of the doji just even over the past, I think it was like 24, 48 hours, means that we're probably heading higher here. I also too, given our conversations about Mr. Fink and his desire to control the Bitcoin space through this ETF issuance, I would find it very hard to believe that Bitcoin's going to actually top and stop going up ahead of that event. At the same time, too, though, they are injecting quite a bit of volatility into the price, and any sort of short-term algorithms getting quite chopped up here in this back and forth. And unfortunately, that is what happens a lot of times with algorithms, especially algorithms that are based on relatively few inputs. It's like this crypto top 30, it's only 30 issues. So as a result, it is flipping back and forth, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. And I might argue that really until we actually get like M's coming into price here, I don't think hunting shorts right now is really such a good idea. If anything, it's just a question of, are you long? And when does the price break? I have been talking with the sort of the audience at TRI but the fact that rising wedges inherently are bearish. But the issue here is, of course, where does the top of the rising wedge ultimately come in? Is this it? I mean, it is interesting how we've been talking about extension levels and things like parking garages recently, and we're just sort of grinding away up in this area here. So, I mean, unfortunately, for sort of new people to trading, you have to sit there and you have to patiently wait for the market to correct before you can actually really come in and buy. And I guarantee you, the day that everybody acquiesces and said, that's it, Bitcoin's only go up, disregard technical analysis, it's useless, that's going to be the day the damn thing breaks. I mean, it's almost like Murphy's Law. Having said that, I still don't have any M's in price action. We came very close about a week or two ago, but we never did M. Then we just went and put in a bullish railroad tracks. And here we are today, breaking the new highs. So there is no top in this market. Also, too, some of the names that have been under, well, I guess two things. Number one, I've been watching some of these bear ETF, well, not ETF, that's not the right word, bear proxies in the crypto space. This is the Ethereum one. We did have a tag, of course, Brian's favorite fib, and I was very curious as to how this was going to play out. So you can see they brought the market right back down into Brian's favorite fib area. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. Candle body lows for trade location. So this is actually a really interesting level to keep an eye on. And if we go and put in like a little inside bar reversal and break back to the upside, through the weekend here on this, on some sort of top in Ethereum price, well, don't be shocked. And of course, if this thing goes and W's out and we actually get like some sort of real violent break in the price, and this thing W's out and the moving average is crossed, then the bull market's done. But it's not there yet. Having said that, I've said recently, I wouldn't fault anybody that was sort of like, I'm hunting for tops in the market, usually first week of December. There's, the irrational exuberance peak kind of idea. It wouldn't surprise me if we look back and this thing turned. And really, I mean, this is a trader's life. As my old boss in Top Step used to always say, you are paid to worry. So this is a really good example where, if a professional came in and bought this thing and said, you know what, I'm willing to risk to a break to new lows here. So that is my risk window. And of course, if this darn thing performs, I mean, you can see how far we've come. I don't know whether this is the peak or not. I mean, there is no sign of it yet, but hopefully you understand, like, this is the whole point of being a risk taker, is you identify windows where it's relatively low risk. And if we go through these lows, you just walk away. Having said that, just keep it simple, stupid. 50% rule should be our just very natural, simple target. Maybe even 38.2s as first stop targets. We'll throw on Collins pump chaser zone, and you can see where it is. Hey, look at that. I'm getting pretty good at eyeballing these things, eh? So, this is a trader's life, and it wouldn't surprise me if there are professionals that are going to come in and buy that there and take that risk. And if this thing just trend continuations, then they just walk away on a break of that low. But if they are right, you can see they'll get paid quite a bit more versus if they're wrong. I mean, and again, it is just a trader's life. If you fancy yourself a trader and you're kind of like, well, Brian, I'm very interested in this, but just going and blindly buying a level, that's pretty hard for me. You want to wait for this thing to W out? Well, that'll probably give you a little bit more information that, yes, indeed, this thing has turned. And this is the difference between what they call price risk and information risk. So the price risk people, they're more than happy to come in and buy these levels, right down here at the bottom. They're going to get a really, really good price, but they just don't have that much information actually validating that, yes, this thing has actually turned and it's now a bull market. versus the people that say, Brian, I really need to see this W come in, and then I'll feel a lot more comfortable. I'll go and buy that, maybe even wait for like a Wyckoff check or something and buy that. Those people take price risk. So they've got the information that indeed the market has turned, but unlike these guys down here, their risk window coming in and risking against that low is there. The people that buy the W, well, their risk window is quite a bit more, but they've got more information validating the trade idea. So anyway, if you've ever heard people talk about information risk versus price risk, oh, hopefully that's a pretty good illustration. And then what I've said recently, and I will probably leave off the video at this, is I don't think you're really going to see a break in the market until you actually start seeing these guys calm down. And we've kind of talked about this recently that if you do see that the altcoins are rocking and rolling, and I've sort of said recently, you know what I want to see to make sure that this is indeed a bull, because I'm very, very skeptical up here. There's no way I can buy these uppy markets. Having said that, if they just keep heading higher, well, don't get in front of them. If anything, what I want to see is I want to see pullbacks so I can buy more. Like some of these names, and I'm such an idiot, I can't believe I missed these entries. I mean, look at that beautiful W in there. I need a pullback here into tax loss selling season here. Give me a pullback so I can get in on him. He was one of my favorite ones from previous cycles. Kasama, same thing. I want to pull back against these lows. Sis, same thing. I mean, this one, God damn it, I missed just the easiest money there. So, and maybe that's my bias because I want to buy a bunch of these things and want to pull back. So maybe I'm a little bit biased there. But the point here is that, and actually, TRI, and part of our sort of our pro package, we have, I'm doing the little old lady plan, and it's nice and simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Pretty easy trading. For instance, I went and bought some of this Doge down here at 6 cents, and I don't know. You tell me over the next year or two, what are the odds that Alan's going to run his coin back up into this area? I'd say probably pretty good. So that's sort of like little old lady stuff. Just keep it really simple. Don't overthink this stuff. But also, too, we have what I would consider one of the preeminent experts in this space, although he's very, very shy, so he doesn't really like public acknowledgement. But Sjord, he's got a list of his names, and he was even pointing out that he is now, and I don't want to get him into trouble. He's going to be like, "Shut up! Don't talk like that." But he's even said recently he's absolutely convinced that this thing's now going to go to $100, kind of like that Luna did that last cycle. So, it'll be interesting. Anybody on the YouTube page and stuff watching in the future, do we, someone remind me in the end of 2025, so that's basically 2 years from now, to circle back around and see how this rune is. I feel 100% confident that this thing's probably going to be like the same as that Luna. Then also too, which really sucks, is that probably the whole damn story falls apart, and this thing might go right off the board into 27, 28. Typical crypto cliche. So anyway, back to the near term. I have been conjecturing that this has been, of course, one of the market darlings recently, huge rally. And if crypto is going to continue, this thing should continue to lead. And I've been sort of, counseling people, well, maybe we potentially have a harmonic pattern that's developing here. And actually, we've got Mr. Harmonican on the site here in the after party here today as our sort of Friday special guest. So it'll be interesting to get his comment. He probably doesn't see a harmonic here anymore. But anyway, I'll leave that for Steven's commentary. But the point I would just make is, TRI's got this incredible crypto analyst. It's part of our pro package. And, I show you the list of his ideas. Of course, he comes on every Tuesday on the show and talks a little bit about some of the names. This is not an exhaustive list. These are just some of the names that he's interested in. And as I had said here recently, if this altcoin market is still for real and is still rallying, then you're going to see names like this break out to new highs. Also, hello, this is another one of his killer picks. And I mean, look at this guy. He's got like, he must, I don't know, he's got like crypto analysis out his butt. But this was another one that I think Stewart actually loaded up down here, believe it or not. So he's flying on cloud nine right now. My question had been, well, this sure looks like it's come into some sort of resistance top. We got all these fog and bombs and trend line resistance. So it doesn't surprise me that this thing stalled out. But you can see, you've heard me talk about bullish bots before. You can see one low, two lows, three lows. Is this thing going to go and break out and create another big honking AB equals CD to the upside? It wouldn't surprise me. And I'll just finish off the video with this. One of the only names that's actually still justifiably buyable. We have a few names on our, again, this is another function of our pro dashboard membership. And I won't go into too much detail here, but on our crypto universe page, we do a weekly commodity trend survey. I used to do this with the commodities every single week when I was a commodities broker, and fives and sixes on this are buys. You ideally want six is an absolute outright buy. Any kind of buy signal, you got to get in there. Fives are usually setting up that we're pretty damn close to a buy. So you can see there's not many still on a list. I mean, it's interesting how people have been bullish of Bitcoin. I can't buy Bitcoin here right now. It's way above its 50% level. If anything, I'm almost worried that there's a trap being laid here. But, price will break when it breaks. Solana is a super popular one previous cycle. It's gone zooming up here. There's no way I could go and buy Solana right now, but there are still a few names that are actually still in buyable windows. Algorand, Matic, good old Cripple. Oh no, XLM. Is that Cripple? No. XRP is Cripple. XLM is Stellar Lumens. It's interesting how he's worked his way back down. HBAR, Filecoin. Yeah, these are names that I think can do well. It's just a question of, do we actually get bullish setup? So here is the Matic. And you can see this is the 52-week range. Why would our algo be interested in this? The weekly commodity trend survey. Well, there is the 50% level. So we are substantially below that. And you can see the moving averages cross bullishly. You can see the absolute killer value buy right here. Beautiful double bottom there. I mean, just so textbook. That's a weekly price chart too. Oh my God. I mean, that's what I really need for all of you level oneers to learn. Notice there's Brian's favorite fib right down against the bottom end of the range. I mean, just absolutely beautiful. This might actually set up like a bullish bot setup, right? Where we want to see 3 higher lows, and that creates kind of like what I was showing you on Sjord's name there. And I'm seeing this on quite a few crypto names that we got A to B, C to D. So you can see this thing probably, this expression up here does nothing more than take us up into a reload short zone on a weekly basis. So if we go RLZ, oh, there it is. So it'll take us up into Mountain Man and up against all these old highs. So on balance, actually, I'm already long a bunch of this. Like I said, just absolutely incredible bottoms down here. So super pleased that we are long. But just for time purposes, I'll just quickly do this up. So you can see we did do 33%. Hold on, okay, I'll put it the way it's supposed to be. It's always drawn backwards. Anyway, we did 33, didn't go beyond 66. So that means I can start doing my AB equals CD projections. And that means we can go bot trade. So there is the 25 level. Notice you can see there's a double bottom already coming in here. This would be like front running the bot, but you can see trend line breaks. I got one low, I got two lows. If I can get any kind of W over here, oh boy, I think I might even just go add to this trade. You can see where AB equals CD bot objectives are. And then if all hell breaks loose and this thing goes absolutely orgiastic, alt ABCs could take us all the way up into testing those old 52-week highs. So as long as I'm still seeing this kind of price action, I don't really want to call a top in crypto. And it's actually interesting, and I'm not quite sure why. It'd be fascinating to go into the nitty-gritty of the algo itself, but you do actually see that the broader crypto universe breadth, it's also making that AB equals CD bullish bot kind of consolidation setup here. It flashed a buy back there November 22nd, and it's just been sort of grinding its way up. The TRI top 30 breadth indicators just been driving our community crazy here of late. And it just is what it is. Unfortunately, algos do this sometimes. I'm not quite sure why the gods have decided to do this for the crypto breadth, but the broader universe is still pointing comfortably higher. And as I said, as long as I keep seeing this kind of price action, I got one low, I got two lows, give me another key low here, and I could actually justifiably go and add to these trades. And I see a bunch of charts that look like this, whether it be Crazy Fjords Hello, or I mean, we can go through the list. You can see Link is trying to do this. Look at that bull flag trying to form here. So, stay tuned, folks. And of course, as I've said repeatedly, as long as we keep seeing these markets move higher, I can't see that Bitcoin's going to break down. And of course, as long as until Mr. Fink gets his ETF, I can't see that he's going to let crypto break down, because there's no way he's going to let crypto absolutely puke out and people start, losing tons of money being long this, and then they'll float the ETF. No way that'll happen. Excellent, Adam. Adam remembers paste picante sauce. Well, yeah, you won the trivia question today. Way to go. So, strap on your seatbelts, folks. I mean, what a great analogy. I strapped on some of this stable coin off of this W. And it's like, what is that? That's like 4 or 5x, 4x, I guess, from where we bought it. This is ridiculous. So, enjoy. And actually, I even saw people posting messages in the TRI lounge that, things like this UST, there's actually talk that this thing is going to go back to parity. So, go figure. And then, probably the last thing I'll leave off with, come full circle, if we go and look at the actual stock market, if we look at things like the BITO, I mean, there's no way in hell I can buy that there. You know me. I mean, there's no way I can. But show me a new high and I'll show you a buy. And then look at some of these cute little ones. Look at this little wolf. Everybody on the site, of course, is uber bullish of this thing. But look at that. It's sitting right at my favorite fib, right? The line in the sand, 78.6 right there. That sure looks like an inverted head and shoulders to me. And then interesting enough, this clear spark, same thing. I mean, look, oh, Jesus Christ. Well, that one's gone. The other day, we were looking at this, conjecturing whether this was a right shoulder. Well, I guess it was, right? Jesus, come out. So, and Novigrads, look at Novigrad. This is another reason why I think that thing's going to go back to parity, because this guy's long a shitload of that USD and he wants his money back, damn it. I mean, there's no way I can buy Novigrads here now, but you can see where I was bullish. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, I thought it was on one of these charts. Yep, there you can see. I did put your money where your mouth is. I have been buying Novigrads along here. And I can't buy any more of him now. If anything, if I wanted to buy more, I have to wait for reload zones, probably fill in the gap, and I'll add to the trade. But in the short term, these things are all pointed up. Look at this coin. It's back to $133. Show me a new high and I'll show you something, right? Jesus, look at that son of a gun go. So, it's an uppy market. Yeah, all right. So I think I'll probably leave the rant at that. Let's head on over to the after party. Should be a really interesting conversation with Steven here, and we'll look at some harmonics. He is sort of our resident harmonican sort of quarterback of that room, although Igor and is it Hafed? I think Hafed's in there with you. I mean, it's great. Another value-added feature of our site. If you have taken the education program in our level 3, we have a formal introduction to harmonics, and Stephen comes in and chats with the students through the level 3 program, and and they're invited to come and hang out with him in the harmonics room. So maybe we'll get an update on whether we have any new harmonicans from this latest level 3 program joining their ranks in earnest. All right. Rant. Sure hope you enjoyed all of that. As you can see, stock market in uppy mode. We talked a little bit about the options expiry, so it does make sense why they're lifting the market. The bond market is in uppy mode, which is probably the thing that needs to be seen here to make sure why the stocks are actually moving higher, interest rates calming down. Gold is going absolutely crazy. I've talked lots about how gold through the early 1980s did really, really well. And ironically enough, the only market that really isn't doing much here right now is oil. And I'll go and check out how my little short's doing there shortly. All right, everybody. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins the race. Hope you got some value out of that. Come on over to the after party. We'll chat a little bit about whether Stephen wants to participate in some of these bullish bot setups in crypto. And if I'm not mistaken, he wants to talk to us a little bit about Solana because I think he's a fan and he likes what he's seeing these days. So anyway, have yourselves a great day. All the best and bye for now.